Hi, and welcome to the first video podcast of Reading to Feed the Mind. We began early November 2019, so there are actually two podcasts ahead of this one, but this one is now going to be a part of the video podcasting. So while we may not have every episode in video, what we're going to do is record as many as we can. Also, we're going to use the video element of Reading to Feed the Mind when we're interviewing authors, visiting book clubs, going to different video book events. So that's how we're going to use the video portion of Reading to Feed the Mind. So I'm excited, y'all. Like I said, this will be my third audio, and I just don't know where we're going and how far we're going to go, but I know we can. I am actually in my little sound booth now. I did a lot of research on how to podcast, what the pros, the cons. So, I'm an overachiever. So rather than starting in my closet, I built a little sound booth using plumber's pipes, and I attached the video, the links that I use. So thank you guys for sharing. I don't know the name right now, but I will put the name of the videos, the various videos I've watched on advice on podcasting. And I am new, so I'm sure those seasoned podcasters probably have a lot of comments. So please feel free to drop it down below. I'm here. Feedback is learning, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. Those are gifts to help you be a better podcaster, better presenter, facilitator, teacher. So you have to swallow it, take it, and, for what you need, keep. For what you don't, throw it out. Anyway, y'all, let's get started. So that was my introduction. Now I'm going to turn on the audio portion and get my iPad up and slip my glasses on. Yes, I'm at that age. I'm that person now. I have to do the glasses. So I've slipped my glasses on and we are going to begin. So let me hit record. Welcome to our third episode. I hope you are enjoying listening as much as I am producing them. I had no idea how much all of this would entail, but it's worth every minute I am spending preparing. If I can encourage someone to dive into a new book and support an author, it's all worth it. This episode is airing on the last day of the year 2019. It's been a great year, and I am so looking forward to 2020, this next decade, and all that it has to offer. I hope 2020 is a great year for all of you who are listening. Much blessings, and we wish nothing but the best for us all. In this episode, we will begin a series entitled Did You Know? This will be a pop-up series where we'll take a look at authors who are very well known in other careers but found time to create, in some cases, really interesting novels. Right now, I have 4 other episodes other than this one in the can, ready to go. Well, not ready to go, but editing and ready to go. And I'm researching more. So if you know of an author who we've known in other industries, entertainment, athlete, politician, or anybody else that was big in another area but wrote a book, please drop us a line. If you're watching me on YouTube, drop a line in the comments, or you can go to my website, my email, Stacy, STACY.Woods @ccucatalystbooks.com. So just drop me an email and let me know if you've known of some authors that we should take a look at. So again, this is going to be the first of our pop-up episodes of Did You Know? Our first Did You Know author. It's someone we've known as a rapper, producer, actor, but we never realized that during some of that same time he was accomplishing those things, he was an author. I chose this person because of his latest creation, the series on Starz, Power. Yeah, y'all, 50 Cent has done it again. We are discussing the multi-talented 50 Cents today. 50 is one of the entertainers that I really like to talk about to you, my nephew who's 18, and just try to get them to understand, you know, you don't stop at one thing. There are people like LeBron James, 50 Cent, and of course, my mind is going to go blank right now. But there are several people out there who first came on the scene as singers, athletes, rappers, and then now on this second, they have a whole different life. And this whole different life is, for 50, an author. So, and producer and, director. He created the series Starz of Power that airs on Starz. So, as we know, 50 Cent is one of those rappers who came from a really hard life. He started as a rapper. Then in 2004, he became a minority stakeholder of vitamin water. So the way I read on Wikipedia when I was researching, he actually, I think, had a vitamin water in a commercial or something he was in. And then I think he talked about how much he liked vitamin water. And so they offered him a minority stake in the company. And he later developed his own vitamin water. It's grape flavored and it's titled Formula 50. So I haven't tried it, but I am going to go look for it. According to Wikipedia, 50 has been featured in 88 music videos, 31 television programs, 25 films, and 44 video games. That man is busy. He is just unlimited. So that is a lot. And now we can add to it author and owner of a publishing company, G Unit, which started in 2004. So in 2007, in an article written by the staff of Spin, which is an online affiliate of Billboard magazine, 50 Cent is quoted as saying that the books published by G Unit are based on, and I'm going to quote, the kinds of dramas me and my crew have been dealing with our whole lives. Death, deceit, double crosses, ultimate loyalty, and total betrayal. It's about life on the streets, and no one knows it better than us. Now, that wasn't a great 50 Cent invitation, but, I just wanted to give it that base. Death by Dishonor is one of the 3 hip-hop novellas that 50 Cent published under his company, G Unit. This one was co-authored by Nikki Turner, who has a pretty successful writing career herself, and she writes a lot of street lit, as they term it. The other 2 were The Ski Mask Way, which I think was a song entitled on his Masquerade CD, and it was co-authored by Kate Elliott. It's about a small-time drug dealer who attempts to rob his employers. And then the third is Baby Brother, which was co-authored by Noah. This is a story about the Davis brothers. When the youngest Davis is hurt in a violent act, the rest of the Davis brothers follow on a path of justice and blood that rocks the city streets. So that one should be pretty good. There are several more titles under G Unit Books. I have Amazon links at the bottom if you're YouTubing, and on my website, ccucatalystbooks.com, that will also link you to the other books, the other titles published by G Unit. So now, let's get into Death Before Dishonor. I'm holding the book up for the YouTube viewers. All right, so Death Before Dishonor. So this book had been on my bookshelf for a long time. It had actually gotten lost, tucked away in the section of books that I have, need to be read. I'm sure our avid book readers have a stack or something of books that you bought and was all excited, never read, and then now you're like, oh my God. So you run across them sometimes and forget you have certain titles. And that was the case with Death Before Dishonor. So as I was selecting my books, looking through books that I could possibly do a podcast on, I ran across this book. And the funny thing about it was, this is the last season of Power. So I thought, 50 Cent, crime book, thug book, Power. Let's see how much they relate, if they relate at all. So the setting of the book is in Richmond, Virginia, not New York, so there's a contrast difference. While Power is based in New York, this book is based in Richmond, Virginia. Trill Johnson, the main character of the book, has a little hint of ghost. He has been released from a 5-year stint in jail and has returned to get revenge on the people that, sold him out, that caused him to be in jail. And he eventually wants to leave the street life for a better legal life. So he is on that mission, which is similar to Ghost. Sonny James, to me, would be the Angela of Power. She is, they weren't lifelong friends. They actually met each other when Trill was running from a scene. He was running from a crime scene. He was in the middle of something. I don't want to give it away. He was in the middle of something, and he ran into Sonny during that process. And when they run into each other, they kind of feel a vibe. And so from that point on, they connected. And as they grew into each other, Sonny became more like Angela, wanting to support Trill in getting out the street life in Richmond. Sonny had a successful beauty salon and was really doing well for herself. She was all about that money. Make that money, make that money. Sonny reminds me, when I think of Sonny now, I think about the young lady on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Now, let me tell you, I'm one of those people that will watch series, but I am awful with remembering character names. But the character Sonny in this book really, really fits the character of the beautician in Sisters. So y'all can put her name down at the bottom. I'll put her name down at the bottom for the YouTube viewers. Anyway, so she was all about that money. She was strong-minded, strong-willed. And so after she meets Sonny, they connect. They connect and they get into a relationship. And now she is as dedicated to him. She becomes very dedicated to him and wants to do everything she can to support him in going clean and getting out the streets of Richmond. And then there's Precious Pay. Yes, she's Trill's girlfriend. She's been with him a long time. And yes, she does remind you of Atasha. So they're not married. They don't have any kids. But Precious watched over Trill's son while he was in prison. So that links them very strong. And Precious, and she also, she has been with Trill for a while, and while they don't have kids, she watched over Trill's son while he was in jail. So that gives them a strong bond and a strong link. Precious wants Trill to stay in the game because she needs him to stay in the game, like Tasha, so she can continue to have a certain lifestyle. But also, she wants payback for the leg that she lost during the robbery. So that's kind of deep. So those are the main characters, Trill, Sonny, and Precious. And so throughout the book, we just see their lives and how they interact, and Trill trying to get back at people who did him wrong, and Sonny trying to be his support, and Precious trying to, manipulate and do her thing as well. So it's a pretty interesting book. Overall, the book was entertaining. It kept me engaged and wanting to see what would happen next. The story itself, the book itself, is kind of thin. It's only about 194 pages, but then he also gives you a sample of the other two books at the end. So you're reading, you get the first little snippet of his first of the other two books, Baby Brother and The Ski Mask Way. So I would recommend this book. I would recommend it to people that really are into that hip hop life. So probably a little bit of the younger generations. I don't know. I know with the book, The Coldest Winter Ever, I read that book before I had a child, but or else when my daughter was a baby. And I remember when I read it, I always promised myself that once she reached the age of a teenager, that I would have her to read this book, read The Coldest Winter Ever, because I figured I felt that it was a really good lesson in there for her. Because if you read The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah, she really shows you from a woman's perspective the life of a drug dealer and living with a drug dealer and the decisions that we make. So I said that to say, I don't know if I would really use death before dishonor. I think if you did that for teenagers, you want to kind of sit and talk to them about the good and the bad of the book. And I think it gives them another view of, what's out there, and kind of may dissuade them from getting into that life. But that's my opinion. But anyway, so I would recommend the book. And what I want to really do is delve deeper into the co-authors of the book, because we don't know how much was 50, how much was the co-authors, where his name is listed as an author on the book. But I would like to read more of Nikki Turner's, Noah's, and Kay Elliott's works, so that, I can have a little bit of a measuring. So what I'm going to do is put it on my many lists of podcasts to come. Well, maybe we'll do like a street crime, women in street crime podcast, where we'll talk about those books. But let's see, moving on. So that's going to really bring us to the end. I'm excited about the video aspect of the podcast now. So for those that's listening in the radio, for those that's in your car or only listening to the podcast, we're now on YouTube, Reading to Feed the Mind. So now you can see me while I do a little of my podcasting. And I plan on really using the YouTube version when we visit book clubs and as I interview authors. So my next episode, I think I'm going to talk about Audible versions of reading and the different versions of reading books. So we may not just pinpoint one author, but I will share with you some of the books that I've had the pleasure of reading or listening to on Audible, and we'll weigh out the pros and the cons. So you know what? If you want to share your thoughts on Audible versus having the actual book in your hand and, the different ways that you read, please do it on YouTube in the comments section. If you're listening to the podcast, please post on the iTunes comment section. Let me know what your style is, how you read books, because I know when we first started going to the e-readers and the iPods and things like that, I just always felt like I was cheating. And definitely if you listen to a book, well, that's cheating. That's not really reading. But life happens. And I have Kindle and I have Audible. I live in Atlanta, in the metropolitan Atlanta area, and I'm sure you have heard about our traffic. So it really keeps a sister calm when I have a book to listen to. So that's going to be the next episode. I'm going to share with you some of the books I've read via Kindle and listen to on Audible. So thanks again for tuning in. Until we meet again, keep reading to feed your mind. Be blessed.